What up, YouTube, and welcome back to another review here at Thomas Open, where we are doing something pretty intense this afternoon. It's a Sunday afternoon. As you guys can see, I have 3 beers in front of me, and I got these beers from Harry over at Blue Nose Beer Reviews. He's a British beer tuber. I will put a link down to his YouTube channel in the description box below, so do follow his channel, hit that subscribe button over there. He sent me a box of beers from the UK about a week ago, and there was something very special in there. And as you can see, that's these 3 beers right here. It's a trio, a threesome, whatever you want to call it, by Siren Craft Brew Company, from, where are they? Finchamstead, UK. They are basically, as far as I could find out, the same Imperial Milk Stout with different adjuncts. They're all 13.5% ABV. They were all barrel-aged in bourbon and rye barrels for 24 months. The only difference is the adjunct. So what we have here is Waltzer. And Waltzer has rum barrel-aged coffee in it. We have Haunted House, which is coconut and chocolate. Does it say if it's actually chocolate or coconuts? Cacao. When I get to every beer, I will read out the actual ingredients on every beer. And we have Helter Skelter, which is an orange and oak version. Now, oddly enough, I have a sneaking suspicion that while with the chocolate and the coconut, this one would be my favorite. I'm kind of guessing I might like that one the most, but that's just some preconceived notion I have right now. I figured, you know what, it's a Sunday afternoon. I'm gonna review all 3 beers, cap them, and somewhere later this afternoon, so, you know, by then that live stream will have happened. Harry is doing a little live stream, so I'm going to finish them off on his live stream, just, you know, chill out with the rest of my Sunday. So, how about I'm just going to read out every beer, what's in it, and then pour all 3 of them, and then we're going to compare them. We're going to start off with Waltzer, which is a barrel-aged Imperial Milk Stout. It's all the fun of the fair in this trio of decadent Imperial Stouts, each rich with residual sugars and oozing barrel character. Waltzer revolves with chocolate notes and coffee aged in rum barrels. So it has water, malted barley, oats, wheat, lactose, muscovado, coffee, hops, and yeast. Haunted House, same text. You'll find creamy coconut and Moorish cacao in Haunted House. It's brewed with malted barley, water, malted barley, oats, wheat, lactose, muscovado, cacao, coconut, hops, and yeast. And then this one, same story. Helter Skelter is vibrant with orange zest and balanced by additional oak. Same ingredients up to the lactose, and it's orange zest, oak, hops, and yeast. So yeah, I am pretty freaking stoked about all of these beers. I got some nice tiny little tasting glasses, which we're gonna use. Crikey. That is on there quite freaking well. And let's pour out. This pours out so, wow, that pours out so incredibly dark brown, nearing black. Just going to put that right here. I'm going to do little bits, like I said, I'm going to do little bits right now so I can enjoy the beers later on during the stream. Now, the thing is, for those of you who follow my channel, you'll know that I am, generally speaking, not the biggest fan of milk stouts. I often find that the lactose is considered the main ingredient and really does not complement. That was a nice little smoke in the opening on that one. Does usually overpower and well, ruin a beer, I don't want to say, but basically it becomes too much for me. Now, as you would expect, with 13.5% and all those residual sugars and the fact that it's barrel aged for quite a time, there is no head on any of these beers. They basically dissipated straight away. They pour it the same. They are incredibly dark brown, nearing black. I can show you one, and you'll see basically it is right there in the glass, as black can be, with some brown edges on the side. And again, no real head to speak of. It has beautiful alcohol legs. I don't know if you guys can see. This is thick. It didn't pour the thickest beer you've ever seen. With 13.5%, some people will quickly assume that it must be like motor oil almost, but with the barrel aging, sometimes it thins out a beer a little bit, and after 24 months. I'm not that surprised that it isn't so thick anymore. Let's go to Waltzer first, the barrel-aged coffee version. See what she does in the nose. Yeah, that's boozy as fuck. I'm not getting big coffee notes just yet, but assuming the coffee, I don't know when they added it, coffee can fade like hops. So there is a sort of a slight astringent note there. Yeah, okay, a little bit of coffee coming through. The bourbon is definitely there. The rye adds a little bit of that sharpness. Yeah, now we're getting the coffee. This needs a little time to open. There's definitely that sort of green coffee note, like the fresh green beans. Not the fresh coffee beans. They have like a green note from my point of view. Yeah, basically, the odd thing is, the lovely thing here is that, yeah, you get a big sweet note, but it doesn't come across as overtly sweet. It doesn't come off as like some of those over-the-top milk stouts. It still has a lovely roasty, toasty component to it. Lots of barrel character. Like, you can tell that this was 24 months barrel aged. Yeah, that smells nice. There's a bit of a hint of the rum there, definitely. That Muscovado sugar's coming through. It has a definite dark brown sugary note. Smells wonderful. Smells fantastic. Very curious about the coconut and chocolate version. I really hope I'm going to get a lot of coconut in this one. So here we go. It has a very sharp nose right now. I think a lot of, by the way, the bottles were all bottled on November 2020, so they're about 4 months old, which is, very good for a barrel-aged beer. There is sort of like a coconutty, again, very sharp and boozy right now. I think a lot of these beers will definitely need some breathing to really get that sharp edge off. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, in a year or two, they lose that sharpness through some bottle aging. There is a sort of a coconut character there. I'm getting more chocolate. And there's almost like a marzipan thing going on, which I kind of got here as well. By the way, now that this is breathing, you're definitely getting the coffee a lot more. In comparison, this really has a big note of coffee now. I think this one might need a little bit of time to breathe because it's a bit muted. It's mostly sharp and bourbony. Now let's go to, that was Haunted House. Let's go to Helter, Skelter. And let's see, I'm really hoping I'm going to get a big, big whiff of orange here on the first go. And hopefully a bit of that oaky dryness. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, as soon as this one's going to mellow out a little bit, because again, with 13.5% ABV and 24 months in a barrel, there is so much barrel character there. There's so much bourbon, there's so much rye. But there is that definite, so in the UK, around Christmas, you have these chocolate oranges. They're wrapped, they got this orange wrap, and you bang them on the table and they fall apart in like orange slices, but of chocolate, of course, and you have this big, lovely chocolate component. Orange component. Chocolate and orange really work so incredibly well together. And you definitely get that lovely, zesty, feisty orange note in here. Oh, that's delicious. That's great. Yeah, so far, I want to go back to this one because yeah, I think hopefully the coconut comes through in the palate a little bit better because right now it's kind of muted on the coconut. I'm going to start off with Waltzer and see what that does in terms of the palate and taste and whatnot. Harry, thank you again for sending me these 3 beers. This is going to be one hell of a review. Thank you very much, buddy, and see you in the live stream in a little bit. Oh, wow. The barrel character on that is spot on. Like, the sugars from both the lactose and the Muscovado really make this pretty sweet, but the base stout, without that, still has a huge roasty, toasty component. There's loads of malty goodness there. A little bit of umami in the background. Lovely mouthfeel. Finish keeps on coming. There's a definite coffee presence there without it being too much. So it's pretty well balanced. The mouthfeel isn't as thick as you, like I said earlier during the pouring. When you think about 13.5% ABV and the lactose, you're probably going to assume it's going to have a huge mouthfeel. It's definitely not thin, but it's not as icky sticky coat in your mouth as you might expect. There's a definite sort of like a licorice umami component in there. And the coffee is just very, very nicely there. Not too overtly, more like that freshly ground coffee, not like a cup of coffee itself. I like that. There's actually a little bit of some of those bourbon barrel aged beers. They give me a coconut impression. There's actually a little bit of coconut in there. It's got a lovely little char component going in. I like that one. I like that one a lot. Let's go to the coconut one because I'm very curious about this one. I should have gotten a glass of water really, but that funds my palate, but we'll see. Remarkably similar to that, minus the coffee. The umami licorice thing comes across a lot more. Again, the sweetness is there, but not too over the top. I do not really have a huge sweet tooth. This is actually very enjoyable in terms of level of sweetness. I am getting chocolate. There is a definite creamy chocolate component in there. The coconut, not so much. Assuming this was brewed with coconut as an actual ingredient and then barrel aged for 24 months, I'm not surprised that the coconut has faded a little bit and gone to the background. It's got more like a soft nutty component than an actual coconut. Like coconut, desiccated coconut, when you put that in a dry frying pan, toast it a little bit and can have this nutty component. It's more of that than actual fresh, fleshy coconut. Quite enjoyable, but so far I'm liking that one a little bit better. It's remarkable how in both beers so far, the base stout really comes through. You can tell that you're drinking the same beer with different adjuncts, which really is, from myself, from my point of view, actually a very good thing. I like an adjunct beer, don't mind lactose, as in when it's all not too overpowering. You know, you still get the beer, you still get all the things like that roasted, toasted, malty goodness. You get that sort of bitterness from the darker malts, the roasted malts. You get that, again, that umami sort of licorice thing going on that I get from some of those imperial stouts, and you get it here, which is a good thing because these adjuncts aren't overpowering at all. Now, let's go to the last one, the orange one. Very curious about Helter Skelter. Oh yeah, that nose. Oh crap. Oh, that's a tough call to make right now because, ooh, that's good. I love a coffee stout. I love coffee stouts. That one is amazing. This one I find very tasty still, very delicious, but it's lacking in that coconut for me. This one for me is definitely the winner. That orange punching through. Oh yeah, that has all the orange I want. If you have this bottle, drink it very quickly because talked about this with some people online the other day, or a few weeks ago. One of the variants in 2018 for the BCBS was Midnight Orange. Many people are complaining, or not complaining. It wasn't 2018, wasn't it? Yeah, that was 2018. They weren't complaining, of course, but it happened. But they were like, okay, after 2 years, the orange is basically gone. And that will fade pretty quickly. So if you have a bottle of this, drink it now. Oddly enough, the sharpness that I'm getting in this one's the smoothest. This one is definitely the smoothest. The creamiest, Yeah, and my favorite of the three. Like I said, I'm a sucker for coconut, and I expected to love this one the most. But of the three, it's still delicious. It's still a perfect beer, and I'm gonna have no issues finishing this bottle. But these two are the standout for me, and yeah, the coffee component is really coming through so lovely right now. It's got that astringent note of the coffee, that sort of red berry, red fruit component of the coffee. And that soy ketchup, umami, licorice thing really blends so well here. Let's see, do we have similar amounts in... Because I think the last thing that we definitely need to do, of course, is a cuvee. You need to do a cuvee. Look, I love this one, definitely. I love it, and there is a soft, like nutty, maybe coconutty vibe there. Maybe it'll develop. Check out Untapped for my eventual scores, because it might develop a little bit, and the coconut might come through a little bit more. I love it, but mostly it's the soft chocolate note with hints of nuttiness. Yeah, I like all three of them. That one's the winner for me. Almost the winner for me, and this one's third place. But Harry, I loved all three of them. This was amazing. This was such a great review to do. I really loved it very much. There's only one thing that we still need to do, and that is a cuvee, because you do need to do this, I feel. And I know some people think it's bullshit, but since it's basically all the same beer to begin with, why not see what happens when you put all three of them together? There we go. So it's definitely the orange that pops out the most. The coffee is more muted and is now very nicely blended with those chocolate notes that all three beers have. This one the most. That one the most, but this one definitely adds to it. And the coffee is now sort of like, instead of an overpowering thing, in a good way it was overpowering, it's now much more balanced. Yeah, it's definitely there, that astringent note, but it's definitely the orange that's winning here in the cuvee. I had 3 equal measurements of all beers. Again, there's this marzipan almond thing that pops out from all 3 of these beers. The orange, oddly enough, blending it now, and maybe that's from the bourbon barrels, I don't know, but oddly enough, now that they're all together, I'm getting much thicker coconut notes. Actually, there's much more coconut going on right now. Okay, this, can we? That's nice. That is just so incredibly nice. I love this. As the cuvee, this thing is spot on. It has everything. It's got that soft astringency from the coffee, working with the chocolate notes that you get mostly from these two, together with that coconutty from the bourbon barrels, that soft sweetness from the lactose, the muscovado sugar. It's all very well balanced. I think that's the key here. I find them all 3 of them very well balanced. They are powerful, they are intense, but they're not too much, if you know what I mean. I am loving the ever-loving shit out of this. Harry, I am so grateful for you to send me over these beers. I'm really looking forward to our live stream in a little bit. Should start in about 20 minutes, maybe a little bit more, so I'm going to get ready for that. But thank you so much for sending me these. I am definitely going to reciprocate in kind and send you something somewhere in 2021. I'm going to get you a beer mail out. Can't wait to do that. I've got some things in mind that I hope we can still get for you. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so very much. And that was it for this review. If you liked it, click like. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. In the notification box below, you will find links to Harry's channel, Blue Nose Beer Reviews. You will find links to all of my social media. You will find a link to the Dutch Beer Collective and a link to mysterybeer.nl. And leave some comments, drop some comments. Have you had these beers from Siren? What were your impressions? Which one was your favorite? Which one did you not like? How could you not like? I know it sounds harsh, but still. And I'll see all of you in another review soon. Cheers.